I'm Valentino, and I'm joined today with Tim from Manchester Orchestra. How you doing today, Tim?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. This is very exciting. You guys are on tour right now with Foxing and Michigander. Tell me about how this tour has been going.
It's been going incredible, really. There's so many reasons to be thankful and appreciative to be out here and to be playing these shows and to have them being attended so well, and it just feels like people are really grateful to be back out at shows and at live music events again, and it's really coming through. So it's been awesome for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's interesting because, you put out your record, The Million Masks, last year, and then it's been a full year, but you're finally able to tour on it. Is it weird to kind of like sit on those songs for a year before you get to play them live?
Yeah, it's interesting. It was, and then on top of all of that, I had my second child, and so that kind of forced us to break up the tour a little bit more than even we thought originally. But we're starting to wonder if it was maybe weirdly a good thing, because it gave people a chance to really, sometimes when you put your record out and tour on it immediately, there's some people who haven't really gotten a chance to sit with it and to really get attached to it yet, and it feels like everybody got to, and now they're singing along to the new songs like Bedhead and stuff, and it's really cool to hear people just into the new stuff and singing along with us and being a part of the show. It's been so fun.
That's a really good point, is when you drop a record and then you start touring immediately, they don't know all the lyrics, you know what I mean? They just came out.
Yeah.
But now they're super into it.
It just came out, it's all fresh, and they don't get a chance to really dive into it, and this time around it's kind of been nice, so kind of a positive side of it.
Absolutely. And I wanted to, again, congratulate you on the birth of your second child. Super exciting
Appreciate
stuff there.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Is it tough to balance family and tour? Because, when you're on tour, that's like a 3-month chunk of just, away from home.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, fortunately we have good, stable family structures at home, and we're even lucky enough that our wives are friends, and so they'll go hang out with each other or make it easy on each other. It's really a lot better watching kids in groups. So you get them all together somewhere at someone's house, and that's always nice. When we're out here, we find out that they're all together eating somewhere or doing something, and that kind of community thing helps a lot. But yeah, it's definitely a sacrifice, to leave, because you're going to miss them. But at the same time, I think it's nice to get a chance to come out here and do what we love to do. And then it makes, when we go home, it almost makes us better dads, because you really, really value your time that you have with them, But as I keep having, now I have the second one and all that, it can add a little bit of, guilt and all of that stuff when you're getting ready to leave for 5-6 weeks. It's never easy, but I feel like now that we're older, a little bit older now, and we're trying to stay as sane and as sort of, to keep the road feeling, with a nice homeostasis kind of home feel as much as we can, and our younger days, it was once tour hit, it was just, basically, do whatever you want as soon as you get out on the road. And I feel like these days we're all trying to eat a little bit healthier, make sure we're getting sleep, and, just try to be in the best mindset as possible to play these shows. And it's been good. It's been a good, healthy growth process for us. So I'm proud of the band for taking steps to make sure that we can stay out here and stay in a healthy mindset. Because, it's no matter who you are, no matter what group you are, and no matter how good things are, 5-6 weeks away from home, it takes its toll,
Oh, exactly. And it's a part of the industry, part of the job. Is just that like those long chunks, those like months away. Super cool that your families are friends. Because I know of musicians that I've interviewed where when they're on tour they hang out, but when they're not on tour they never see each other. And it's kind of cool to see that the band even off tour is still super close.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very huge deal because we realize that fully that not every band has, and I mean, it's not like it's always perfect, we're not trying to pretend or anything, but we're thankful for the stable, home life community that we have. And we realize like not all bands do get along, as well as we do, or, can handle being. And I think it's probably been tough for some bands. We've talked about this that have less of a like, oh, we don't really hang out with each other when we're off the road. And with the way that things have been lately with touring, it's probably tough if you can't really go anywhere or do anything, and you're not very close with the people that you play music with. It's probably a different thing. But fortunately for us, we get along really well. So it's been awesome.
And again, the life of a musician, especially a touring musician, it's interesting because I can't think of any other job where you work, full time with them, and then you go hang out and you sleep, in the same like bus as them,
Totally.
and you go to the same food places as them. So it's like 24/7 with someone. So I understand why other bands don't, but it's just refreshing to hear bands like Manchester Orchestra that never get tired of it.
Yeah. I refer to it as the pirate life. You're basically on a pirate ship out here, and everyone's kind of just making their way. And but it's been amazing. And for us, one kind of cool thing is we feel like we're still improving and getting better as a band. And even during when we weren't really allowed to be out there doing shows, we had to figure out what we're going to do. We started up a Patreon and started having to learn all of our old music and our old songs and just dive into the band's entire catalog so that we could be putting out these kind of stripped-down versions of the songs every month. And that made us really start listening to each other even more. And I feel like it just kind of informed our playing and everything, where we've noticed, we're happy with the fact that the band is getting tighter and we're still making these teeny little adjustments here or there that make the show that much better and that much tighter. And so that's exciting too, to be this far into the band's history or story and still be seeing improvements happen and more people coming out to the shows and just growth in different areas. And it's been really refreshing. So it makes all the hard work and going and leaving your family and being away and all of that, it makes it a lot easier when you're giving your all every night and trying to do the best job. And we don't take it lightly with our fans and the people that are out here coming to these shows. And we know that it's a big deal. We're very, very appreciative that they're choosing to come see us and to spend their night with us. And we want to make sure that we're giving them the best Manchester experience that we possibly can. So, yeah.
And I think that's even displayed in the music itself. You guys have had like 7 records out, and it's crazy to me that like you were always popular. 2017, Black Mile comes out. It's like your biggest release to date. Like, and then 2021, Million Masks of God come out, and you guys are more relevant than ever. You know what I mean? And especially in that like alternative emo scene, typically the route of bands is they'll have like 2 great, albums, and then they kind of go downhill. But with Manchester Orchestra, it's very nice to see you guys constantly putting your best foot forward, even in the music as well as the live shows.
Man, that's awesome. Thank you so much for saying that, first of all, because you do a lot of work and put a lot of time into these albums, and they take years to go through the full process and to really materialize. And so to have people understand that we are trying to continue to raise the bar for this band and to continue to push what we're doing, it feels like people are understanding that with us. That, we want to set out the highest standard for ourselves. And I feel like if we live up to that, then we know that our fans and new listeners will be will be intrigued and will be attracted to what we're doing. So, but it is amazing. I think some bands, really hard for bands to kind of get through this sort of like past record 3 kind of time frame. And then so once you can kind of break past that, you start to really mature as a band and start to find what your footing is going to be and like what this band's going to be all about and what we're going to do next. And that's kind of the most exciting thing is Manchester still feels so like we have not even begun to tap all of our potential even slightly. It feels like we're still growing so much, and we're really excited about new creations and a lot of the stuff that we've been working on, behind the scenes. So it's just awesome to hear things like that people see the growth. To when we come out with Black Mile and then even to Million Masks, it was, we put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into those albums, and it is also a testament. Anybody out there that's playing music that's in a band, there is this kind of redeeming thought that if you put out something really quality and really, really take the time and hone your craft and make sure it's living up to a high standard, you can have success and you can even, sort of bounce back from slumps and all of that kind of stuff. Like you can control your own destiny and make sure that art is as, high of a level as possible. I mean, I don't want to, pass out any too much, I don't want to make it sound like it's a fairy tale and it's easy or anything like that. But I do strongly encourage people to push it that little bit extra, really take it, as far as you can take the music and the art, because that's what's going to help. That 10% difference is kind of what can differentiate, and there was tons of that with us on these records. Of all right, this thing is really good, but how do we, tweak every last thing about it so that we can, when we walk away from it, we can feel like we left it all out there, And so, I hope I'm not being too long-winded, but I just want to express our appreciation for listeners and fans that understand that this band is, we're trying to continue to grow and to get better as we continue along. And it's exciting. It's exciting to start thinking about what this band could write next or where we could go. And so, yeah.
And
stick with us, y'all.
I think that's part of the reason, myself and so many other Manchester Orchestra fans respect you guys so much, is because there are a lot of bands, and I'd like not to throw any other band under the bus. There's a lot of really good bands out there, but a lot of bands will pump out a record every 2 years, and it'll have a few good songs on it, but it won't be like a great record. Whereas with Manchester Orchestra, you guys really do take your time with every release. You know what I mean? We had 4 or 5 years from Black Mile to Million Masks, and it was worth every second of the wait. You know what I mean? Everything is constructed so carefully. You aren't worried about quantity. You guys are worried about quality.
Absolutely. And once again, I appreciate that. And I fully realize that we're a fortunate band now where we can make those kinds of decisions and be patient like that and make sure, that when Andy goes down the track listing, he's putting a big green check mark next to every single song without hesitation, but it's definitely, it takes a lot of time and a lot of work, and I know that not every band can operate like we do, and not everyone can, have the resources necessarily that we do, but everybody can put that blood, sweat, and tears effort into an album and be able to walk away from it going, I feel like I did as much as I could to contribute to this thing being great, and for us now, that's sort of the deal is pursuing a level of greatness with the music as much as possible, and so I am super, super pumped to start writing on a new record and to see what we do next, because it feels like we're all pretty hungry to keep creating on a high level. So.
Now, have you guys started to write that next record yet, or not yet?
I don't want to let too much stuff out of the bag, but we might have some stuff going on. We've been working on a couple different things. And Andy has definitely started to. It's funny because I can always tell like he kind of switches gears, and so whenever he's ready to start thinking about an album, you can kind of tell in the way he's thinking and sort of processing and getting himself ready to like open up all of those floodgates and get ready to start thinking about because an album is more than just sitting there and writing. For us, it's something that has to be tapped into, and it's got to have a concept to it and all of these things. And so it definitely comes with almost a heaviness of like, oh man, this is a huge task we're about to embark on. But I can tell that we are about to start sticking our toe into the pool of, all right, a Manchester record is about to start getting worked on. So, who knows how long that takes and what forms it takes and where we go and all of those things. But there's definitely content starting to show up, and he's definitely starting to write, and I can tell that he's starting to get inspired. So, and these shows and all of that have been such a big part of that, of us being like, okay, this is the plan. Like, let's stay steady at what we do. Our fans are here. Our people are here. They want to hear these songs. So let's just keep doing the best job we can on, and, keep playing this stuff, obviously, but also getting ready to dive into making something amazing. Hopefully. That's the game plan, at least.
Exactly. And I'm sure whatever you guys write, whatever gears are currently turning in your heads, it'll be great, and we'll play it here on WSOU. We're so excited.
Love that. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. We really do appreciate it. We really appreciate our radio station, too. We just, the relationships are strong now, and we really, really thank you guys for supporting us and for playing us.
Well, again, as we said, you guys constantly write these incredible masterpieces, and, we want to give it love. We want to show it to as many people as possible. But I do have another question specifically regarding this tour, because this is something I'm dying to ask you.
Cool.
With a band like Manchester Orchestra, you guys are so album-focused that, like, your record is a cohesive piece. It doesn't feel like 11 singles. It feels like a full-length record. And even with, like, Million Masks, like, I don't just put on, like, songs. Like, I don't just, like, put on a track or two. When I listen to Million Masks, I start at the top and I go to the end,
That's awesome.
But I imagine when writing, like, a set list for this tour, like, that's got to be hard because, again, your albums are just such perfect, cohesive pieces. It's got to be hard to kind of break that down.
Yeah, we're definitely getting to that point now as a band where we have a lot of songs. And we got a lot of songs that a lot of different people like a lot of different songs of, or however I say that sentence correctly. I think you know what I mean. It's just, because Manchester has covered so much ground in its discography, it's funny because there's some people, when we go, they want to hear Collie Strings, or they want to hear a song from, 10 years ago, and we're still playing, we're trying to do the new stuff and still kind of bring the old fans along with us that love all the old material. And so it's definitely, there's a pressure on the set list, but I really feel like we nailed it, and we've been making tweaks as we've gone along to the tour of, like, certain songs. When we first started the tour, the last 3 weeks, we were playing songs like The Wolf, and we kind of phased some stuff like that out, brought other songs back in, and I feel like we've really landed on a set list that covers all the records as best as we can in a 90-minute set, and then they all sort of flow into each other, and it's a really, really good set list we got right now. So I hope no one leaves disappointed. I know that there's some songs, and people are bummed, like, there's a couple things like Friends and songs like that are just kind of, there's from an era gone by, and now we've kind of moved into the Million Masks phase, but people are responding to the new songs incredibly well, and so it's a really great ride. We've got a little bit of all the different dynamics of Manchester in the set list right now, so it's going to be good. You're going to like it if you come. Just the loud, the soft, and everything in between,
Absolutely. And, that's so interesting to even hear, because you're right, like, you're constantly tweaking it, trying to make it as perfect as possible. And again, as I said, you guys are such cohesive record band. Like everything you guys have done is is a perfect whole, not like a bunch of singles slapped together. So when you're writing this, it's kind of cool that you make different eras of Manchester Orchestra bleed into each other.
Yeah, it's been really fun, and it's really cool to see like the crowd respond at certain points, like when Andy will just touch on a little piece of the song here or there, and you can tell it's just fun when it lights up somebody, or like you can tell they've been waiting to hear that one get played, like when the sunshine comes on or something like that. It's just there's all sorts of different dynamics and different looks to this set. It's just, I think it's probably one of the best representations of Manchester Orchestra and what we sound like, So, yeah, please come out. Please come see us on a show if you can, and have a good time with us. And we promise we'll make it worth your while.
Absolutely. And for all of our New Jersey listeners, you guys are coming to the Starland Ballroom on March 19th. I'll say it one more time, March 19th, the Starland Ballroom in Saraville, New Jersey. Our listeners really don't want to miss that. So if you're listening to this interview, definitely check that out. Thank you so much again.
Don't miss it.
I got one more question for you today. It's my last question. Before I even get into this, I want to thank you so much again for taking time out of your day to talk with me, talk with SOU. We really are loving the new record, and we're just so excited to push it and push this new tour as much as possible. So thank you.
Absolutely. Right back at you. Thank you so much for the continued support and really just a wonderfully pleasant conversation today. I've been having a blast.
Oh, thank you, Tim. That really just made my day. I really do appreciate that.
Absolutely.
My last question is, I do want to talk about the festival that has been on everyone's mind for the last 2 months. I cannot escape the hype. It has been absolutely insane.
It's everywhere.
When We Were Young Festival, this has taken the world by storm. Not just the scene, the world by storm. Tell me a little bit about getting on that festival, seeing the reaction, just everything about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff from my era, because I'm a little older now, and so I'm not going to lie, I'm actually kind of excited about a few of the bands that are going to be on there. But it was definitely one of those things where we weren't really quite sure if we were going to be able to, we had been getting contacted about it, but we had this tour, a lot of Million Mass stuff going on. Very, our focus is on this tour, and touring itself is something we were navigating all the new ins and outs of that I don't think we realized what this thing was. And then once it hit the internet, we instantly realized what was going on, and then the dates, they started adding more dates, and it's just grown into almost all the memes started showing up online, and we've been thoroughly entertained. Absolutely. And I'm weirdly honored that we get to be a part of a festival with a lot of bands that have had crazy, amazing careers and legacies, and some of them are still bands and some of them aren't. But I know that we're going to have an absolute blast being there. And I'm pretty stoked to check Paramore out. I haven't actually get to see them live yet. So.
Oh, absolutely.
And we, many years back, we got to do the Honda Civic tour with Blink-182 and My Chem. And My Chem guys were nothing but absolutely kind sweethearts to us. And so I probably won't even get to see them, but maybe I'll get a chance to sneak by and just say what's up and thank them once again for being really nice guys to us.
Of course. That's so nice to hear.
It's a hilarious festival. I mean, it's crazy. There's some stuff on there like I can't believe they got some of the bands to do it that they did. So I'm actually really stoked about it.
And it's got like every era of the scene, like the older fans of like Thursday,
Dude,
Story of the Year.
No doubt about it.
Oh, exactly.
I think that was kind of their plan with us, was to like maybe get, I don't know what you call us, a loud festival rock band to kind of round it out a little bit or something like that. But we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to also be running around like little kids trying to find our young, like the bands that we listened to when we were coming up. So it's going to be fun.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so excited. I know a lot of SOU listeners are definitely going to be there as well.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you again.
Absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for having me. And one more time, thank you for the continued support and for playing our band. We really do appreciate it.